Islam and the Discoveries of Modern Science Part 3. Amazing scientific discoveries that the noble Qur'an and prophetic hadiths informed of and alluded to over 1,400 years ago. The noble Qur'an and prophetic hadiths informed about and alluded to amazing scientific facts concerning the heavens, earth, mountains, oceans, mankind, animals, birds and plants. This was more than 1,400 years ago, at a time when no one had even the slightest knowledge about such facts. Then modern science came with its advanced technology, only to discover the truth and accuracy of those facts. From among the scientific facts that the noble Qur'an and prophetic hadiths informed of and alluded to, the heavens, one Allah, exalted, says, "And whomsoever Allah wills to guide, he opens his breast to Islam, and whomsoever he wills to send astray, he makes his breast closed and constricted, as if he is climbing up to the sky." Qur'an. Al-An'am, 125. Definitions: his breast closed, meaning, his chest is tight and not wide and spacious, due to the disturbance and irregularity of his respiratory system. Constricted, meaning, extremely tight. Climbing up, meaning, ascending with difficulty and constraint. This noble Quranic verse speaks about the person who strays from the way of Allah, exalted, and about Allah's authority over him in this world, such that he renders his chest in an extremely tight condition, like the one who tries to ascend into the heavens, suffering from the difficulty of his ascent. Hence, the noble verse informs us of the condition of the one who ascends towards the heavens, and that he suffers from extreme tightness of the chest due to the disturbance and irregularity of his respiratory system, evident from the saying of Allah, closed and constricted, and his saying, climbing up. Modern science has discovered that while ascending towards the upper levels of the atmosphere, a drop in air pressure does occur, which causes the feeling of tightness in the chest and difficulty in breathing. From this, the truth of this amazing scientific fact that this noble Quranic verse alluded to over 1,400 years ago, at a time when no one had even the slightest knowledge of such facts, becomes evident, through an unprecedented, concise depiction, made clear in only 3 words in this noble verse. From these words are, tight and constricted, 2 words that describe the condition of the one ascending towards the heavens, that his chest is tight and constricted. The 3rd word, climbing up, takes on a form in the Arabic language which indicates that the ascension is not easy, rather the one ascending finds difficulty in his ascension because of what he endures from the huge drop in air pressure. How precise and meticulous is the wording of the noble Qur'an, even its choice of letters. Therefore it serves as a witness to the fact that the noble Qur'an is the speech of Allah, glorified and exalted. To Allah, exalted, says, "And a sign for them is the night, we withdraw therefrom the day, and behold, they are in darkness. And the sun runs on its fixed course for a term appointed. That is the decree of the Almighty, the All-Knowing. And the moon, we have measured for it mansions, to traverse, till it returns like the old dried curved date stalk. It is not for the sun to overtake the moon, nor does the night outstrip the day. They all float, each in an orbit." Qur'an, Yasin, 37-40. Definitions: orbit, meaning, a circular-shaped path of motion. They all float, move along in a controlled, smooth and easy manner throughout space, as a swimmer in water. These noble verses speak about the night and the day, in the first verse, with an implied allusion to the earth, as the night and day succeed one another on its surface. Then, the noble verses speak about the sun, in the 2nd verse, then about the moon, in the 3rd verse. Then the 4th verse speaks about the sun and the moon as well as the night and the day, which refer to the earth, altogether, such that the noble verse came in the plural tense, as is clear in his saying they all float, which indicates the plural tense, the least of which is 3, the sun, the moon and the earth. If the reference was to just the sun and the moon, the term used would have been they both, which indicates the dual tense. However, the term used was they all, which indicates the plural, as we pointed out, the sun, moon, and earth. After these noble verses spoke about the sun, moon and stars, they mentioned 2 amazing and connected scientific facts about the sun, moon and earth. They are: A. The Earth's movement in space, through mentioning the movement of each of the 3, sun, moon and earth, in his saying, "They all float, each in an orbit." On top of that, the verse describes this movement with extreme detail, and that it is a controlled, smooth and easy movement. Just as a swimmer in water glides along easily, as he said, float. B. The description of the Earth's movement in space, through mentioning that they all, Sun, Moon and Earth, move along in a circular-shaped path of motion, orbit, as he said. They all float, each in an orbit. This is what has been recently discovered, while the Noble Qur'an had already informed us of this over 1,400 years ago. From the magnificent wisdom and style of the Noble Qur'an, through the expressions it used to speak about the earth, night and day, it gave a very subtle indication of the earth's movement, in such a manner that didn't disturb or shock the primitive mindset it was addressing over 1,400 years ago. So, what then is the extent of the magnificence, wisdom and style of the Noble Qur'an? Hence, it is evident that the Noble Qur'an is the final of Allah's divine books, sent down to his Prophet Muhammad, salutations and peace of Allah be upon him, carrying within it a proof of the truthfulness and authenticity of its message. 3 Allah excited says, and even if we opened to them a gate from the heaven and they were to continue ascending thereto, they would surely say, our eyes have been, as if dazzled. Nay, we are a people bewitched. Quran, Al-Hijr, 14-15. Definitions, they were to continue, meaning, they became. The use of this verb in the Arabic language indicates the action occurring in the daytime. When speaking about a nighttime occurrence, the verb batu is used. Ascending, meaning, inclining upward to the sky, indicating ascension with a slant, curve or unevenness like the old dried curved date stalk, or the clustered branch of an old palm tree that leans and curves when it dries. Also, the Prophet Muhammad's, salutations and peace of Allah be upon him, journey to the heavens is called the ascension. Our eyes have been, as if dazzled, meaning, our vision has been blocked or we have been prevented from seeing, one no longer sees. Bewitched, meaning, we have been affected by magic. This noble Quranic verse supposes a permission has been granted to penetrate and pass through the heavens, illustrating, over 1,400 years ago, the description and manner of this movement. It further illustrates what the passer will be surprised by during his ascension to the heavens for the first time, such that the noble verse used the term and even if in its opening, meaning it is a recent occurrence that never happened before, and a splendid scene and marvelous depiction through detailed and concise terminology. In short, the meaning of this noble verse is that even if those obstinate, arrogant folks who deny the truth were granted permission to ascend to the heavens to see some of the signs of Allah exalted, his magnificent ability, or his original craftsmanship, they would neither believe nor have faith, rather they would doubt what their own eyes saw, and they would say that what they saw was because they had been affected by magic. These 2 noble verses, in one line, inform us of numerous amazing scientific facts, the truth and accuracy of which modern science testifies to, which we will, by Allah, elaborate upon in what follows. A. The first noble verse, by use of the word gate, indicates that the heavens have certain gateways that without them penetrating or passing through would be impossible. The Exalted says, and even if we open to them a gate from the heaven, meaning, the heavens have gateways that without them penetrating would be impossible, and this is what modern science has discovered. If any spaceship attempted to ascend to the heavens and transverse the atmosphere through other than these specific gates that have been discovered, it would quickly collide and explode. B. The first noble verse informs us that the movement in space is in a curved, bent manner, not a straight manner, as he Exalted said. Ascending, inclining, meaning, ascension towards to heavens is in a curved, crooked manner, not in a straight line. And modern science has discovered the truth of what this noble Quranic verse indicates, and that is, movement in the heavens is only in curved lines, due to the difference in gravity of the different masses moving in the heavens. See, the first noble Quranic verse uses the term they continue to describe the ascension into the heavens. And the use of this verb indicates that the action takes place in the daytime, not in the darkness of night. Then the second noble verse informs us that after their ascension into and penetration of the heavens, the atmosphere, they will tell us of their inability to see anything, and that their eyes have been prevented from seeing, in a subtle indication of an amazing scientific fact from this noble Quranic verse. After their ascension into heavens and penetration of the atmosphere, they will be surprised by a pitch-black darkness, that due to it nothing can be seen, and that because of it they will believe that they have lost their sight, in spite of the fact that their ascension was in broad daylight. Modern science has discovered the accuracy of this amazing scientific fact indicated in the noble Qur'an, that the pitch-black darkness of the night covers the planet Earth. Not only that, but that it covers the sun and other stars and galaxies. D. What these 2 noble verses alluded to of amazing scientific facts wouldn't suffice. They also described what one will see while ascending towards the heavens after passing the Earth's atmosphere. Through the use of the term bewitched, which illustrates one's condition after passing through it, as in his saying, nay, we are a people bewitched, which, for the first time, clarifies the reason for this statement by one who has ascended towards the heaven and passed through the Earth's atmosphere, after ascending towards the heavens in daylight, while their vision is working and unimpaired, they would be surprised by pitch blackness after passing through the Earth's atmosphere, and would assume by this that they have lost their sight. Suddenly, they would observe in the far distance pale specks of light, the stars, in the midst of that pitch blackness, causing them to realize that they have not lost their vision. So their explanation for their current baffling situation is that they must have been bewitched, due to their inability to explain what is really happening. This scene that the noble Qur'an depicted so marvelously and concisely, in just one line, is exactly what has been discovered and photographed through modern technology. By this, we come to realize how the noble Qur'an took into account that it was addressing the primitive mindset of over 1,400 years ago, as well as the mentality of the era of advanced technological science. How meticulous are the expressions and eloquence of the noble Qur'an! And how beautiful and unique are its descriptions and depictions? And what is it an indication of? Without a doubt, all of that is an indication of the legitimacy of the noble Qur'an and its being protected by Allah, blessed and exalted, and that it is the divine scripture suitable for addressing and guiding mankind, in all places and times. Likewise it is an indication of the truthfulness of the one who brought it and called to its message, the trustworthy seal of all the prophets and messengers, Muhammad, salutations and peace of Allah be upon him. The details and implications within the Quranic phrases and expressions are such that they bear witness that it is in fact revelation from Allah, exalted, upon his trustworthy prophet, Muhammad, salutations and peace of Allah be upon him, as well as the truthfulness of his call and his message. For Allah, exalted, says, with power did we construct the heaven. Verily, we are able to extend the vastness of space thereof. Quran, Al-Dariyat, 47. Definitions. The heaven, outer space which encompasses the earth. With power and ability and preciseness. Able to extend the vastness of space thereof, we will surely increase its vastness and we will cause it to be continuously expanding and spreading. The noble Quranic verse speaks about the heavens, and about the magnificence of Allah's ability to create it uniquely and precisely. It informs us that Allah, glorified and exalted, indeed created the heavens with his power and ability, and made it vast, furthermore, that he will increase its vastness and cause it to be continuously expanding and spreading. Indeed, modern science has uncovered the truth of what the noble Qur'an informs us, such that modern technology has confirmed that stars, as well as galaxies, made up of stars reaching astonishing numbers, move away from one another at extraordinarily high speeds, sometimes reaching close to the speed of light, 300,000 kilometers a second. Scientists realize that a star's spectrum is partial to red. Hence it was confirmed further. Scientists that one of the characteristics of the universe is that it is continuously expanding, and that is exactly what the noble Quranic verse implies. This expansion was in ancient times and will continue until Allah, exalted, wills. What is indicated from the noble Qur'an's precedence in informing and alluding to such amazing scientific facts as these, over 1,400 years ago, at a time when no one had even the slightest idea about such facts, and the truth of which was not discovered until modern times.